All right, well, hopefully you've seen some of the pool tests I've done on my channel. They're always, oh, Joel's got a fish. Nice. They're always educational. I learned so much from doing those pool tests. And from what I hear from most of you, you learn a lot as well. But I got something different on the agenda today. Joel and I are working our way back to a little pond deep in the marsh, as you can tell, because I want to see how baits look underwater. Oh, I got a fish.
Oh, you got one, yeah.
I got a fish. Ooh, that's a big bass.
That's a nice fish.
That's a big bass. Big for the marsh anyway. Nice fish. I want to see how different baits look in marsh water. We all have our preconceived notions. Oh, Joel's got a fish.
That was awesome.
We all have our preconceived notions of what baits look like underwater and what baits we like in different color water. But how do they actually look? You know, as a general rule, I like to fish dark baits in dirty water. Oh, shoot. And real natural looking baits in clean water, because obviously you feel like the fish can see a whole lot better. So you want something that really looks good. This Holy Jolie, oh goodness, we're getting all kind of bites. This Holy Jolie we're throwing now, you know, it's a clear bait with blue, green, and silver flakes. And I feel like that looks really good in clean water. The water we're fishing now is, you know, it's got a little tan and stain to it, but it's pretty clean. But I really want to get these baits underwater in the natural environment and see how they look. So that's what we're going to do today. But first, we're going to fish our way back there.
Uh-oh. Oh,
there he is.
That was awesome.
Now, the marsh we're fishing right now is full of bass, redfish, and even speckled trout this time of year. They all abide in the shallows in this area. Fishing our way in, we've only caught bass, but there are definitely reds and trout in here. This is the same pond I took Bama Beach Bum in a couple weeks ago, and we caught all 3 species in here. All right, it would take like 6 months to test every color that's available in every bait. That's not what we're doing here. It's not really the goal. We want to see how different color schemes look in these marshes. And we've got a selection here that I think will demonstrate that pretty well. I'll show you what we got. First, we got a watermelon matrix craw. Then we got a cobalt matrix craw. This is Okeechobee craw, a lot of people call that. Then we've got a lemonhead matrix shad, a New Year's Eve H&H cockahoe. I love this bait, particularly in the wintertime. We've got a clear with silver glitter H&H cockahoe. Got an electric chicken H&H cockahoe. Then we got a black and chartreuse vortex shad. Next, we got a Holy Jolie matrix shad, a bait that I love. Then we've got a crab boil Pro's Choice soft stick bait, June bug Pro's Choice soft stick bait, and finally a red fog Pro's Choice soft stick bait. So I'm really excited to see how these look. I have my own biases, like I'm sure you do, but the great thing about these underwater tests is they blow your biases to smithereens. Hopefully some of those biases get destroyed today and we can find some baits that work better than others in water this color. All right, this is how we're gonna do this test. The pond that we're in is pretty shallow, so I've got a GoPro mounted to an H&H push pole. I'm just gonna jam this into the bottom. You know, it's not very hard in South Louisiana. That marsh bottom is really, really soft. And I'm just gonna run these baits in front of this camera and see how they look underwater. I'll probably just do a lot of jigging in front of them at different depths away from the camera. All right, all set up. Let's see how they look. All right, first off is a Holy Jolie matrix shad. Actually, this bait was designed by my son, who's holding the camera. It's clear with blue, green, and silver flake, and I got it rigged on a 1/4 ounce death grip jig head. Let's see how it looks. All right, first off, let me say I'm surprised how stained this water looks, considering how clear it appeared to us as we fished it. If you'll note on the clip where I sunk the camera on the push pole, you can see the camera plain as day, even though it's at least a foot below the surface, and you're looking through a non-polarized lens. Anyway, having said that, as I expected, I love Holy Jolie in this clarity of water. The color is subtle enough not to look obnoxious, but it's got enough silver flakes to reflect ambient light and enough dark blue flakes to provide an unmistakable outline. This color produced for us this day, and it's clear to see why. All right, next up is lemonhead. Give us a good idea of how chartreuse looks underwater. Chartreuse has its place in fishing, obviously, but this isn't it. The color is way too on the nose, and it just doesn't look natural in this water. If fish were in a frenzy, they'd certainly hit this. But on days when they're being selective, I've got to think they're going to turn away. All right, next up is New Year's Eve, a bait with a purple back, all kinds of color glitter, and a clear with silver glitter bottom, a two-tone bait. Let's see how it looks underwater. I like this color more than I expected to in this water. The two-tone nature provides the best of both worlds. The purple gets attention and the light belly adds realism. My bias is that I prefer this on cloudy days, but it may also be a pretty good option when the sun is shining, particularly on partly cloudy days. All right, next up is clear with silver flake. A lot of people don't like baits that are this subtle, but I really do, particularly in good water. Let's see how it looks in this good water. Much like the Holy Jolie, this color provides enough glitter to capture attention, but still looks extraordinarily real in clear water when a fish has more opportunity to inspect a bait. This is a great option. All right, next is electric chicken. Obviously a pink back, kind of a chartreuse belly. This is not a bait I would throw in water this clarity. I really like pink, but I like it in green tinted water. But I don't know, maybe it looks good. Let's see. No, it does not look good. Electric chicken is just too much in this pretty water. It's loud and obnoxious and looks about as authentic as a Louisiana politician. Interestingly, all I can see on this bait is the pink side, not the chartreuse side. But all that pink is enough to disqualify it in pretty water when the fish are being picky. All right, next up, the black and chartreuse vortex shad. I think he calls this Spartacus, but it's black and chartreuse. Very popular color around here, but it's not a color I would throw in this color water. Let's see how it looks. I have to be honest, I like this bait more than I thought I would. The chartreuse gets attention, but it's not enough to dominate the bait. Then the black provides an unmistakable outline. If a killifish or a fingerling mullet swam by right now, I'd have to think it would look pretty much like this color. All right, next up is a color I really like in this clarity of water, and that's watermelon. This is such a great color in the marsh. Let's take a look. First off, that matrix craw looks really great, like a crab or crawfish, both of which are favorites for marsh fish. But that's not all. This watermelon color is dark enough to provide good contrast with the water, but not so much to make it too obvious. I can see why this color is so productive in pretty marsh water. All right, next is the cobalt matrix craw. It's kind of a funky brown with blue flakes. This is also called Okeechobee craw, very popular. I caught some bass in Venice recently on this color. Let's see how it looks. Now the cobalt or Okeechobee craw definitely gets attention, and I can see why it would be productive. But I could also see why it would be a little too much. If I were fishing this color in clean marsh water and not getting bites, I'd switch to something more subtle like watermelon before leaving an area. All right, next up is the Crab Boil Pro's Choice Soft Stick Bait. This is a color I actually asked Pro's Choice to make. It's very similar to the Shrimp Creole Matrix Shad, and I love this color in water this clarity. Let's take a look. Okay, I love this color, and now I see why. Even when I move it away from the lens, it still shows up well while retaining its subtle characteristics that make it realistic. Of all the colors I've looked at in this test, this and Holy Jolie to me look the best. All right, next is a color I'm really looking forward to seeing. This is June Bug, also in a Pro's Choice. Most people would not think to throw this color in a pretty marsh pond or a ditch or a bayou, but I catch just a ton of fish on this. So I really want to see how it looks underwater. This color provides significant contrast in this pretty water, but not so much to disqualify it. It's dark, certainly, but provides subtleties not found in, say, black and blue. Having seen it now underwater, I'll switch to crab boil before giving up on the bait entirely if I'm not getting bites. All right, and last but certainly not least is red fog. This is also a color I asked sportsmansoutfitters.com to make in this Pro's Choice soft stick bait. It is smoke with red glitter. It's something that I like fishing on cloudy days or in water that's got a little bit of a stain to it. Let's see how it looks. The red fog is even more subtle than the June bug, and much like watermelon, provides an important gap filler between really dark colors like black and blue and really subtle ones like holy jolly. It looks like it would be great on cloudy days in clear water or on sunny days in water with just a bit of stain. Man, pool tests are great, and I've gained a ton of knowledge from shooting them, but there's nothing like getting baits in real world conditions to see how various actions and colors look, and I'm so glad we did this one. I learned a ton from this test. Hopefully you did as well. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.